Hello listeners, thanks for joining another episode of the Skin I'm In podcast. I'm your host Chanel, and this is a place where women can tune in to gain peace through clarity, purpose through inspiration, and the permission to be themselves through the stories of other women. If you're enjoying these episodes so far, click the like, share and subscribe button so that more women like you can be positively impacted by the stories in this podcast. My guest today is an osteopath and the co-founder of Yarra Valley Women's Health. She's graduated from RMIT with a double degree in Bachelor of Health Science and Applied Science, furthering her education and training in the area of women's health, specifically pelvic floor and pelvic health, in breast care and mastitis, paediatrics, pregnancy, postpartum care, and cranial osteopathy. Passionately educating and empowering women about how amazing their bodies are, it is evident by the work she is doing in the community just how much she cares about teaching young women about pelvic anatomy, how our menstrual cycles work, and how to keep our pelvic region in good working order by incorporating the right food and movement into our lives. When I came across this woman, I was in awe of her confidence in sharing information about women, their bodies, and all the things we go through that, for the most part, I find really uncomfortable to talk about. So today, we are going to talk about all the things. She is absolutely hilarious. She is honest as all hell. She's a wife. She's a mother of three. She is Stephania Tsotras. Welcome to the podcast, Stephania.
Hello. Hi.
I had to call out that you're hilarious because that's why I'm like, I need to speak to this woman. For anyone who's listening, please go find the Instagram post of the knitted nipple. I'm just going to leave it there. That's literally my
Pretty
favorite. Good. It's so good. It is so good. The music's perfect. The way, like the little cues that you've got going, it was great. I was like, this woman's great. So you co-founded Yarra Valley Women's Health Centre after realising there are no services available for women in the area. What has been the response from local women who used to travel to get that kind of specialised care that you now offer?
It has been an incredible, I think, opportunity is how I like to put it. These people would travel further, what they call down the line, towards, towards the city. And, they could be traveling like 2 hours, hour and a half in the car to see someone, to see gynecologists, to see pelvic floor physios, to see good, in inverted commas, GPs who might have some more knowledge in what they might be feeling. And so to be able to bring that closer to home and still, refer to those people if we're not getting the results that they need has been life-changing for so many women, no matter the age, which is, again, just so grateful that we can provide that care for our community.
Yeah, and you treat a range of issues. Some of them I've literally never even heard of. So I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of these things. Yeah, what in the world is vulvodynia, coccydynia, and what in the world is a pelvic organ prolapse?
Okay. So
what are these things?
Yeah, it's actually quite common. And I think going into any condition, let's say, of our pelvic region, we don't talk about it. So even the fact that vulvodynia or coccydynia is essentially like vulvar pain or coccyx pain. There's also vaginismus, which is, when a vagina, how do I put it kind of plainly, that it just doesn't want to open. There's pain at the vagina. So these are actually things that are really common. And because I think unfortunately fortunately, women's health is starting to creep to the forefront, which is really exciting. More people are starting to talk about it. But I think everyone could agree that from just generationally, we don't talk about anything, let alone period pain. Oh my gosh. Let alone, having intercourse is really painful. So vulvodynia is pain of the vulva, and a prolapse, whew, we could talk like the whole session just about prolapses. But essentially there are different grades of prolapses and usually occur after babies. Most commonly. We're generalizing here, but most commonly happens after babies. And what can happen is, it doesn't matter if you've had a baby vaginally or cesarean section, still your uterus grows huge and you're carrying this baby and all of the amniotic fluid and the placenta. And so it's like a huge weight and burden on your body. And we know gravity goes down, right? And baby's kind of heading that way as well. So the pressure that's put through those pelvic organs and let's say your pelvic floor can complicate some of the structures that are there. So essentially you can get like a prolapse where, and a lot of like pelvic floor physios describe it as like vaginal wall laxity, where the vaginal wall kind of like has room to move. Prolapses are a thing. I usually love pictures, so I'm going to do my best to describe what's happening here. Okay, so imagine that on a side view of your body, you have 3 kids sitting in the back of the car, okay, usually in a car seat, and the middle one always gets jostled by the other 2, okay? That's your vagina, all right? That's your vagina. On one side of you, you've got your bladder, and on the other side of you, you've got your bowel, okay? Now, if the vagina is always getting jostled, and also if like from above, you've got cervix and uterus, okay? So if that vagina is just a little bit like, it doesn't do this, by the way, but this is the only way I can describe it. Kind of like, almost like feels like it's flapping in the breeze. All right, let's just say it's flapping in the breeze, side to side. It's got like heaps of movement, and it doesn't do that. But it can move side to side. If there's a little bit of trauma, usually from childbirth or pregnancy, what can happen is, say, the bladder can scooch back into the vagina, and it's very common. Then, because the bladder is kind of scooching into the vagina, can create like a little bulge. Okay? Now, this is the same for bowel. The importance of not being constipated anytime for women, anytime, let's just specify that, doesn't matter pregnancy, postpartum, for the rest of our lives, you don't want to be constipated because the bowel will fill up with poo. And then because it's enlarging, what's then doing to the vagina just on the other side? It's then jostling and sliding into the vagina. Now, don't hold my words. I'm not a great wordsmith. Take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It's more just a visualization. Okay? It's a visualization. Because I'm sure people will go like, that's not how it is. And I'm like, yeah, I know that. But it's the only way I can describe it. And my goal is knowledge, to share knowledge. We should know these things. So I don't want to come across like I'm an expert. I'm just sharing knowledge. That is it. Because we all deserve to know it.